Hello everyone, Sampath here. We have Colin from Platformly with us today, and you guys know like pretty much like what are the topics we are going to cover for the day. But before we get into that, we just need a quick hi from everyone and which part of the world you are from.
Hi, Colin from Monaco here.
Sampath here from Chennai, India. Okay, Dallas. Wow. Okay. Site says hey, hey Tanner. It keeps
Hey,
hazarding.
Tanner.
Hey Jay.
No, not a hassle. Just
Hey Vanna. Tanner, which city are you from? I'm just curious. Canada, UK. Okay, Francisco, good to see you, man. New York. Okay, hi. Hey, Jeremy, good to see you once again. Hello. Okay, I don't want to take like most of your time. Colin's just getting ready. So Colin basically has his timer ready, so that he's just gonna run this webinar. So we are not gonna take like more of your time. We just basically want to show you how link tracking works. I mean, not we. Colin is gonna show us. I mean, like I am one of the audience today, so Colin is gonna show us how link tracking works, and he is also going to set up like quick marketing automation and show us like how we can get started with marketing automation, because that's like huge part of Platformly, and we all would love to know more about it. Although I have been using it, I would love to know more about how to use it for better use cases with Colin. So I'm one of the audience today, Colin. So
okay.
you can expect a lot of questions from my end too. So
Great.
I'll just disappear as always, and please feel free to take the stage.
Sure, sounds good. So I'll just share my screen real quick.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't see the screen yet. Yes, so before we get started, guys, everyone here, so please save your questions and we'll get back to the question. I mean, whatever questions you are coming up with in the middle of the demo, just feel free to type all of them here in the chat. I hope the chat is public. I have set it public. So if you have like any questions, just keep typing them in. You don't have to worry about like whether it's a silly question or like it's a serious question. Just keep them coming in, and as soon as the demo is over, we'll get on to answer every single question of yours.
Yep, okay. So the first thing I wanted to do is just to quickly walk you guys through setting up a simple automation. Basically, myself, Alec and Julian, who are also part of the executive team at Platformly, are heading to SaaS on Monday in Dublin. And so what we want to do is we want to create a quick automation. So what we're going to do is we're going to first, what we want to do, and just to explain how this is going to work, is we want to take our iPad with us, and we want people to simply put in their name and email on the iPad in front of us, and then we'll give them a demo, and part of that is they'll also get a coupon code to save a bit. So here we have the opt-in form. We quickly built this just before. So if we have a look at it, we can see what that opt-in form looks like. It's just a simple plain opt-in form like this. I don't know if you see it on the screen or not because it's in a pop-up. And then if we go here, we go to edit, and we'll just have a quick look at how it looks from the edit point of view. And so it's just this simple form here. You know, right now there's no background or anything like that. It's just a simple form. Because what we're doing is we first create the form in the opt-in section, and then we're going to create a landing page real quick, and we're going to embed this in there. So we did that just before the call because we don't want to sit and go through all of that now. So as you can see here, the opt-in form is this. We just created these by using elements. So text field, you drag it, you set it, we cloned it, changed it to email. So you just hover and you click on settings just to show you that. So you see map to field email required, yes. And then the send info, you click settings, and we want to submit the opt-in form. And when it submits, we're just going to add a tag to the contact, SaaS stock 18. So that way we can start an automation based on the tag. And under show message, we have thank you, we'll send a flyer, and so on. Okay. And so now what we want to do is so that's all set up. Then what we'll do is, so that's under opt-ins. Okay, this is where you're going to go to create the opt-in where you have the tag. Now we're going to go back. And then the next thing we want to go to is now we want to build the actual landing page that we're going to use inside of, sorry, I'm just seeing questions coming in. You're going, will make more interest to you. Okay, cool. So here we go. So this is the landing page that we quickly set up. And if we go here and we have a look at the landing page, so we'll click edit. It's going to load that up. And you'll see that we just put a background. So it's two elements. We've got the first here. It's just the Platformly logo, and then an element here. So a form, you just place the form. And once you place that form, so I'll just click settings, you'll be able to see that you just choose the SaaS Doc 18 opt-in that we created, and you assign an API key. The reason for assigning an API key is just for security. If you're using a service or you give it access to someone that you then want to remove access from at some point, then you can just kill that API key. So you'd use the API key based on that, all right? Now, if we click on preview, we'll be able to see what that looks like. Okay, so it's just a logo, first name, email, send info. And this is how we're going to have it on our tablet. So we'll just have our tablet device like this, and that's how it's going to look. Or we might even just use our mobile phone. Okay, now that we've done that, we'll just go back to edit. We don't need to save anything because it's already done, so we'll just leave back. Okay, and when people opt in there, they're going to be tagged. So now we want to create a quick automation. Jay, I don't know if my voice is breaking up or not. It could be my internet connection, and also I'm on headsets. But there's other people in the room here with me, so just for your sanity as well, I'll just keep my headsets on. Okay, great, thanks. So then what we'll do is we'll go new automation. And in this case, we can either do an advanced visual or we can do a simple. I think for this one, we can do a simple because it's just a few emails. So what I'll do is I'll do the simple automation, okay? And then what you can do is you can either build it from a template, and that's going to give you a big list of templates that you can load in. So I'm actually just going to click that just to show you as an example. So here we go. We have all these different templates here, and you can preview them. So for example, a 5-day email course. This is a preview of what it looks like, and you'll just modify the areas that have those catch-alls. Okay, so if you wanted to load that up, you can. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to go from a simple automation from scratch. So new automation, simple, build from scratch. And the way the simple automations work is you can kind of think of it kind of like your GET response or something like that. It's just a email series follows up. So what's the trigger? So we're going to trigger it when a contact is added to a tag. We're going to use SaaS Doc 18 as the tag. So that's the trigger point. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add a new email. And our first email, you can either create the email here, all right? Or you can just click choose existing email. And then this part's going to come here. And from here, we're just going to click here and we're going to type in SaaS Doc. So email 1, email 2, email 3. So we're going to load this one up first. And you see it's going to load in here. And we've attached a leaflet for people that they can click to download a 4-page PDF explaining what Platformly is and a way that they can get a coupon, which is valid for the conference. So then all we need to do is we need to choose a sender profile. So in this case, we're going to send it from Platformly. And here we can test that and see the email arrive, but I'm not going to do that because I know that it will. So once we've done that, we're just going to give it an internal title and we're going to call this PLY leaflet. Okay. And then we're going to add the second email. Okay. And this one, we want to send it probably 2 days after we've sent the first one. And we're going to choose this from an existing email. Email 2. And this one is the offer. That's our internal title. And that's 2 days after the previous step. And then that's basically saying, here's the PDF leaflet again. If you have any questions, just reply to us. Same sender profile, so that's all good. and then we're going to add another email, and this one is going to go probably again 2 days after the previous. Choose an existing one, and this is email 3. We're just going to call this one last chance. And after that, we're going to take the coupon away. And so that's all good there. Everything's fine. So once we're happy with this, we just go up to the top and we can save automation. But first, you'll see that you've got the steps here where it shows you where things are wrong. So if I try and save it, it's going to tell me what's wrong. But before we do that anyway, we're going to give it a name. So we're just going to call this SaaS Block 18. And the category, we're going to put this in as platformly. And then ENDIF is a good thing that you want to look at, because let's assume that after email 1, the person comes and they click here. So email 1, they're on email 1, they come here, they visit platformly, and they immediately join, right? We don't want to send them. So actually, I forgot to even say that send it straight away. Okay, so this will send it straight away then. Okay, so we don't want to send them the second email, got the offer, if they've already joined platformly. That wouldn't make sense. So that's what this ENDIF allows you to do. If you go here, you can then add what will make it stop. So these are global conditions, all right? So in this case, we're going to say join the segment, so subscribe to segment. And we're going to choose that as, well, firstly, it's in platformly. Okay, so active members. So we didn't put the platformly tag. So that's the segment that we're using. And then you can add other reasons, other conditions as well. But so you just keep clicking this one. If you have more conditions, like let's say that they join, you want to end it for different reasons, you can add all your reasons in here. And if you only want to end it if one of those happens, then you'll just change this to all. Okay, so the difference is, let's say that they become an active member, or they become, a premium member, or, some other term, you'll say or. But if you want them to meet all the criteria, then you'd say and. In this case, we're going to delete this one, because we're only going to end it if they join our active members. So if they take us up on the offer and they join platformly. And then we're just going to save the automation. And once that saves, we can then activate it, and it should automatically activate actually, and then we're all good. Yeah, so my internet is a bit slow. All right, so whilst we're waiting on that, I don't know what's going on, but do you guys have any questions for me at this point? Is everything kind of clear? Sampath, so far, any questions?
Good. How do we connect the, okay. That's a question from Demori. Colin, can you hear me? Okay, guys.
I think there's a delay.
Can you hear me? Or can you even not hear me? Can you please type 1 if you can hear me? Okay, great. Colin, can you hear me? Okay, great. Perfect. Well, Colin cannot hear me, so obviously I'll have to reset my connection, I think. Probably I'll have to quickly refresh and get back.
Are you there? Hey, Sampath, are you there?
I'm here, Colin. I have no idea what's happening.
Okay, no, that's. I think I maybe got disconnected for a moment or something.
Okay. So there's a question from Demori. He asked, how do we connect the end if to external page or website? Okay, end if to external page or website. That's his question. The end if.
End if.
Yeah,
ENDIF.
to an external page or website. Do you worry, is that question coming from the automation part, where you have the if-else thing?
How do we connect the ENDIF to an external website?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you can do is you can put an event, for example, on that external website, or like a thank you page or something, and then you can end the automation if an event is triggered. And another way, I guess, is you can use an API, and you can segment your users based on the API. That requires a little bit of code understanding, or maybe you could just get a developer to help you with that little part. But yes, you can do that. All right, anyway, so that's now saved, which means that it will automatically run anytime someone opts in to that opt-in form page, which we've published already. Okay, so that, and then they'll go through this, and if they purchase, we'll be able to see the income and the income per contact in this step here under the automations. Now we can also build that as an advanced automation. So you see here it shows under type and it shows the simple. If you want to build it as an advanced, you can. That's where you can use the visual builder, and you'll just put your delay periods and your emails in there. And obviously you can do a lot more advanced things rather than just a follow-up email series, which you do with the simple. But I don't think I need to show you guys that on this call, because that's relatively, it's just going to be repeating what we've already done. So yeah, I'm happy with this as a simple. It's set up for us and it's ready to go now. All right, so Sampath, what should we show next? Is anyone who watching want to see something else on the automations part?
I think the basic automation looks pretty great with that. Okay, event setup. Okay, Paul, that's exactly what I want to talk about. Like,
okay, event setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just refresh the page. So let's discuss how events actually work within Platformly. In order to trigger an event, the contact needs to either be known to us or needs to come from a tracking link. So what that means is, if you share tracking links around the place and your contact clicks on it, let's say on your Facebook ads, then automatically we're going to store all the data on them. And then what happens is, whenever they go and they trigger an event that you've set up, we'll apply that to that contact, and you'll also be able to build reports under funnels for those events, okay? So in terms of event setup, it'll also work if you're sending out an email to people and you link to a page that has events on it. That'll also work if they click on the link in the email and they come there. Like if they're a known contact to us, the events will trigger, basically, okay? And so then when you're coming to set up the events, here's where you can just kind of choose the different things that you can trigger events for, all right? So for example, purchases a transaction, rebills, all these things you can trigger events on. Download something, submits a form, opts in to your landing page, or even just visits a page. So you could do it as visits a thank you page. Okay, we'll just give it a description. And here you can add options as well if you want. So this is, for example, you can add any sort of parameter. So if a visit is, it's optional and you can use it for whatever you want. What you might want to use that for more is for like purchasing of a product, like a transaction. So we can quickly change that. And you'll see here, so you can put in the amount and the currency. So in this case, let's say that the product is a $39 product, okay? Then when you create the code, it's going to give you these two things here, all right? So the first one is just your normal project code that likely you already have. And the second one is the JavaScript code where you want it to trigger. So in this case, you have two choices: add on page, which means you'll just put this anywhere on your page, around your header section, something like that, in your header section, and it'll trigger it on that page. Or if you want to add it to a specific link or button, so then on click, you'll see here, you'll add this just in the HTML, and it'll trigger this event whenever that action happens. So obviously in this case, we just want to add it on our thank you page. So we copy the code and paste it, and that'll be basically done. And then that's how you've created the event. The thing we can talk about now is something we've just added recently. It's always been possible, but we've added it now, is add an email identifier. All right. So what this does is you can add this to, it adds it to your project code. So when I click that, you'll see it's going to add it down here. Okay. So PLY push email and email address. Now there's going to be a help desk article written about this very soon, like in the coming days, that you can then watch, and some video training on it. But basically this is an advanced option. And it's, for example, if you have a membership site, or if you're using another mailer for some reason or something like that, and I'm not talking about SMTP mailers through Platformly, I'm talking about if you use Aweber or GetResponse for another service, you can then send the parameter of the email address in the URL that people click, and then you don't need to use a Platformly tracking link. The event will automatically fire on that email, okay, as long as we have them in your contacts. And also with the developer, you'll be able to build this in that, let's say you have a membership site, and anytime they log in, whatever action they take in your members area, we can record those events, okay? But you'll need to either know a bit of development coding for that, or read our in-depth guide that we'll publish, okay? So that covers that feature. That's something that we recently added to provide even more functionality. And our plan is that we'll continue to get better and better at this as well. So just, I'm going to take a moment here to pause and quickly read the questions that are coming in. How can we avoid double firing the event in the case of a double visit? So we only fire on unique, the events. So if the event fires once and then the person refreshes the page, well, actually, let me discuss that with my CTO after this call, just to confirm that. Okay, but the way that you'll do that then, Konstantin, for a transaction purchase, is you wouldn't use the events for that like this. You would just plug in your Stripe or your PayPal or whatever under the sales reporting, and then it'll do the same effect as this. Okay, you'll be able to track it the same to the contact. It'll put it in your sales reporting, it'll put it in the overview, it'll put it in the lifetime value calculation, etc. So the purchase transaction you'll only use if you haven't connected your payment processors, all right? So not instead of. If you use both, then it'll just read the payment processor one, and it won't trigger this event as well. So you can put this in, for if you wanted to, but once you set up the payment processor, then this won't trigger. We kind of protect you from getting, double transaction counts. Can you explain what the email push is for again? Okay, so Tana, there's going to be a very in-depth article written in the coming days. But basically what it's for is if you know your contact, you can append the email to it, and then it doesn't matter whether they cookied with us or known to us or whatever, we get the email string. So like in your membership area, let's say that you have a SaaS product, something like Platformly, or something where you have members who log in. You can tell us that email ID of that person who's logging in, and then any event that they trigger within the membership area, we can record and assign it to them. So that's basically what it's for. Okay. So it's a fail-safe. From the previous support replies, I was told that there was some advanced identification, like IP tracking, cookie tracking. Yes, that's correct. But that's obviously, if you're using a tracking link. So by using a tracking link, or if they're known to us, it's by using an email. But then yes, we use both IP tracking and cookie tracking. That's correct. Track events outside of tracking links. Yes, that's what this feature allows you to do. So, I mean, they still need to be known to you because you still need to give us the email. And so, if there's a contact in your account, but they've cleared, for whatever reason, they've cleared their cookies and they're in a different IP address on another computer, like at a cafe or whatever, and then they come and they log into your membership site from their friend's house, let's say, then yes, all the events that they do in there will trigger. Yes, yeah, they're identified by email. That's what this identifier allows it to do. That's any other method is, to identify them other than anonymous. We can only identify them by the email. But the previous events are still stored until then in the cookies. Yeah, we assign all the events to the user and we cookie them. Yes. Tanner's
Just give you the access to the mic. Just let me know if you have access to your cam as well. Happy to invite you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm trying to ask you is, that script that's being put in the header allows Platformly to run on the website, and those events you're adding onto the page allow you to trigger specific events, right? So what happens if a user comes onto the site and is not identified yet? Do you store this information into Platformly until they're identified and associated with a contact?
No.
No? So all these events won't be tracked unless in the header you're pushing an email address every time?
No, or unless they're using the tracking links. The tracking links, or if they receive an email, they must be known to us. If they're known to us, we can track the events.
So here's what I'm trying to ask. So if a person goes into the site and they're playing around, they're clicking on a bunch of stuff, and it's not until they purchase that you know their email because they're not logged in. So all the previous behavior is not saved?
Well, or opt-in or something like that as soon as you get the email. But yeah, the previous, when they're anonymous, no, it's not saved.
Is there a reason why that's not being tracked?
Well, it is tracked.
We don't know what the behavior is that would cause an opt-in or cause a conversion.
Yeah, so the reason why, I mean, it's tracked if you're using tracking links. So as I replied to you, I think on Facebook, we are a focused marketing application. So when you go out there and you focus, like you say, okay, I'm going to run Facebook ads, or I'm going to email a solo list, or release blog content, or post on Quora. Then you use the custom domains that you set up with our tracking link, okay? And then we record everything that they do from there. But for someone who just stumbles on your site, yes, we don't record that, but that's not our purpose. We're for focused. We're to say, okay, so this purposeful action that you took, this Quora post you did, or this blog post you did, this is the events that were generated. This is the value that was generated. So, for example, let's say you do a post on Quora and you use our tracking link, and then the person, signs up to your email list, and then you have some, 1 year of emails to them for like getting them to purchase your product and follow-ups and so on. We can then track, and we can say, okay, so from this source on Quora, after 6 months, this is the lifetime value of these people, after a certain period of time. Or, so like if you're spending money on ads, you can see when your break-even point is, what are profitable campaigns, what are losing campaigns, and all that effect. We're not there to store all the anonymous data that, just randomly happens in the internet, or if you're in traffic exchanges, or, what these types of things like.
Well, can I make a suggestion then? So I know that storing all the information is very resource intensive, but what if we do identify the user? Would you be able to just have it stored in a cookie until then, so that we know what they're doing before that happens?
By the user and store it in a cookie.
So all the events and everything else about that user, it's stored in a cookie until we identify them, and then we push all the information to Platformly.
I'm just trying to think about the implementation of that. I guess
then it won't be using your servers until it gets pushed.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we do a call about this, you and I?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe probably after SaaS Stocks, so probably
And-
Friday next week if you're available.
Yeah, and then for the event tracking, are you going to go cover event tracking with the tracking links separately?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Okay, I'll let you just go ahead then.
Okay, cool. Right. So yeah, so there are some interesting that I think that was helpful for people listening as well on the webinar, hopefully, because we're discussing the different ways that behavior events trigger. So if you create tracking links and then you share those tracking links, that information. So for example, this one here is as a one-time cost, but it connected to a Facebook account. All of the people who clicked on this get tracked on all of their actions. So any behavior events, any purchases that they do, all these kinds of things, all right? So if we were to, I don't know how in-depth you guys want me to go. Do you want me to add a new link and visit it, or go through one funnel track, or what questions do people have from this section here? Okay, yes, if you can visit it and show the information is gathered. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to bring my CTO on to the call, and he's just going to quickly show you the full funnel tracking event. Okay. Right. So just hold on 1 second, and we'll get that set up. Would you just? All right. Okay. So he's very busy with some customer support tasks at the moment, so he actually can't come on and do that. What we'll do is we'll do a video straight at later this evening and send it across to you guys. Okay. So everyone who was on this call, we can get that to you. All right. So basically, just to cover this, because it's not that complicated, but I did want to talk a little bit about how we're going to be making it even easier. So what we have is you fill out a form here for a new link. Okay. So the category is purely designed for your organization so that you can filter it later and so on. Then you put in a target URL. This is where you want the people who are visiting the link to end up. Then you're going to give it an internal system name. So once again, that's for your organization. That's not public information. And then here, this custom link name is what comes at the end of the domain. So which you're choosing here. And as you can see, I've got two domains connected, u.joinus.ws and go.srped.com. So I've got a site called serp.com. So this is for tracking links that I'd make for that one, okay? Or you can just use the default one. And here under view domains, you'd click and you'd add your own domains in. So you just fill out these short steps, and then you go to step 2. And what step 2 looks like, I'll show you one of those which has been filled out already. I think, let's see if this is, okay, yep. And then we go view links. So this is what step 2 will look like. It'll ask you for a source, a type, a medium, and an identifier. Okay, and you fill those out, and then you'll get this link. So then you would put this as whatever your traffic source is, whatever type of traffic it is, whatever medium it is. So, and then an identifier to make it unique to this ad set. Okay, and then you'd put this in, for example, this is a Facebook ad for a video in set 1. And then you'd run those Facebook ads, okay? Now we're running that at a waiting list, so there's no income. But then what you can do is on the fly, you can add new ones. So you only have to add this in once, and then you can change these. So probably, let's say you're doing another Facebook ad again. You're going to want to leave these ones the same, and you're just going to want to change the ad set here. So you can just change this as you're adding it in. And then anytime the first click comes on it, it's going to show underneath here. So let's just take this as an example. And if we paste this here, and let's say we change this to C set 2. So I'm just changing that parameter. Okay. And then that forwards to here. All right. And as you can see, I've set it up to track the UTM campaign IDs as well. So when I added the link, so I can see the tracking in Google as well as in Google Analytics as well as in Platformly. So now what we do is if we come back here and we just refresh this page, okay, we'll come back. And that was the long form. It was this one, I think. Okay, so we'll just view that. So here you go. So now you see it's added the C set 2 as the identifier. So it's a different source, it's a different ad source. And we can see it's got one unique click and one total click, which was obviously what we just did right now. So when we go here, you see it's even got me registered. So it shows that it was me who did the click, my email and my IP. Okay, and then obviously I can click on me and it's going to load the data that they have on me. Okay, and all the emails and all the segments I'm part of and projects and so on. Okay, so it registers and it picks up if it's a contact in your database. It'll show you all that information on them as well. So yeah, so that's how you can easily create more tracking links on the fly by simply just changing these after the C, C4, C3, and so on, the equals. You just put whatever you want, and that changes the type, the source, the type, the medium, and the identifier. Okay, so just a quick question here on link quotas. So Addon, that doesn't affect link quotas at all. You can create unlimited tracking links. The only thing that is limited by your plan is the unique tracking link clicks that you get. Okay, so in this case, that would count as 1 towards your quota. Now, if I was to click this link again, it'll show as total, but it'll only be 1 unique. So if I was to grab it and visit it again, okay. When we go back here, it's going to show that it's 1 unique and 2 total. Okay, so 1 unique, 2 total. So it's only going to count once, all right? So whatever your limit is on your plan, that's how many get stored there. Okay. If you're not in the database and you click this for the first time ever, it wouldn't be tracked. Yes, Constantine, it will be tracked. It'll show unique and it'll show unknown, and it'll show the, let me send this link to Alec to click, and then we can see his stats there as well. So just give me a second, I'll share this with him. And I'm even just going to change the identifier on the end. I'm just going to put, okay. When he visits that link, we'll go back. Is that unknown until it is known? Yeah, so once if he opts in, then it'll show his name there. So here we'll just go here, view link. Okay, so I changed the ad identifier to his one. So you see here's his click. So if we look at him, there's his name, email, and his IP. Okay, so that's how the tracking links section work. And based on this, you can then, so just, sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, you can actually go across and you can view stats. Now, obviously this was only the 1 click. So let's just change this date range to just until, like, let's say, but it's only 1 click, so it actually doesn't matter. It's just going to show as a dot. But as you get lots of clicks over time, you'll be able to see, okay, so this was the campaign ID. This is how many people visited. And then here you'll see the conversion rate, conversion percentage, your cost, your revenue, and your profit. And we can go along and we can filter as well by conversion type. And here we can choose either the payment processor for the income or an event fired, okay? So let's say that you don't have a payment processor connected. You then choose event fired, and then you can choose which event counts towards that, okay? So if it's a purchase transaction, for example, when you apply the filter, which obviously we don't have any, but then that will show you over here for that, okay? So you can come through here and you can use the filters. And we're going to keep adding more things to the filters as we go, make it more advanced. But in this case, payment income. And so that puts back this profit thing. And obviously traffic source. So in this case, we put it as Facebook, as you know. And the ad identifier is going to be Alec, because that's what I changed it to. So you can see you'll be able to have a complete breakdown. And you'll be able to see this chart over time. And when you have income coming in, you'll be able to see like the user profile, whether what time they visited, what devices they were using. And so you can see by time and by hour, all right? So in this case, it was Friday and it's 3 p.m., okay? Or between, 3 and 4 p.m., between that time, so in that hour. And we can see the visit and the time. And this is going to give you a breakdown to be able to see, what's your more profitable times and so on. And a heat map as well. So you can see that this is where we're based, okay? So that's the full stats, and you can basically see all these stats. The way we got here, just to remind you once again, was by coming on here and going view stats, all right? And obviously on the higher level one, you can view the stats as well. So if you go like from this one, and we go view links and then view stats, okay? So let me just quickly catch up on some questions here. Sampath, any good questions? Because I see there's a long list coming on here, but I think people who watch this later won't be able to hear so that's why I read out the questions. Let's see.
But we can just share I can set the live like replay so people can just go through the questions from there. I mean, people would be able to read the questions as well. So we will do that.
So Tanner, no, that's not only going to show people who are identified, that's going to show people who, all clicks, it'll show all clicks in that table. So if it's an unknown, it would just say unknown. And then, you can click on them, you can see the IP address, you can see the location. When you go through the stats, you'll be able to see what time they clicked, what device they used, where they're from, which campaign they came from, et cetera, for the unknown. So it tracks all of that. With the tracking links, we track everything that we possibly can, all right? Does it show history of activity in their profile in relation to the link that they clicked on? Yes, it does. So in the case of Alec, if we go here, okay, and then we search, just type in. Okay, and it was this profile here, so we'll just click on it. And under activity, okay, so here's the visits. So the reason why it took a while to load was it's tracking 9,322 entries. So, and that's just from one user. Okay, so you see, visit the index sales page from the click. Let's see if there's a few more questions here, and then I want to show you some roadmap stuff. Okay, so I have 40,000. Okay, I have 40,000 tracking links in Sell Training. Do you think it would be better to have extra contacts instead? I don't know, that's up to you. I mean, it depends on how much you're going to be using the tracking links. I guess over time, if you're using them everywhere, it'll build up. So as long as the same.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to read that question.
Okay, you read it.
Yeah, so Constantine asks, as long as the same user visits the same tracking link over and over, does it still eat up the quota, or it doesn't? It just kind
of it's a unique visit.
Okay.
So your total visit stats will go up, but it's still only a unique visit.
Okay, perfect. I have 40K tracking links and still training. Do you think it would be better? Okay, that was the question. Dimori, like Colin mentioned, it totally depends on your use case. If you have like
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, your use case. So all right, what I wanted to show is some couple of things that we're working on the roadmap that will be coming up at some point soon. So the first one, let's talk about the events. Well, not the events, the tracking links. So before, I was showing you how you can edit them on the fly when you add things in, right? But now this is where it gets really cool, and it's a way that, you know, you'll probably end up creating quite a lot of tracking links and get a lot of benefit out of this. Right now, you fill this out, and then you go to step 2, and then you fill out the C1, so the campaign, the source, the medium, and the ad identifier, right? What we're busy working on is we're working on a template that from the drop-down, you'll be able to select Google Ads / YouTube. Now, if you run Google or YouTube ads, what it'll do is you'll then click Save, and then you're going to get a code that you can save inside your Google AdWords account. And we're going to show you exactly where to save it. You only have to do it once. And then after that, anytime you create a tracking link, you're just going to fill out these 3 fields, okay? And then you're going to take that link and you're going to put it in your ad. And then anytime you create different ads, it's going to create them on the fly for you. So let's say that, you know, you'll only fill this out when you're creating it, when you're promoting a new landing page. So let's say that you have a webinar that you want to drive traffic to. You'll fill this out, and then you'll put that in. And then when you drive traffic to that page from this tracking link, from AdWords or from YouTube videos or whatever ad medium you're using, from Google, the way it'll work is it'll automatically set the ad identifiers and the campaign and the type and everything for you and the medium. So you'll just create your ads on the fly. You won't have to enter those things in again. And then it's going to be very powerful and a huge time saver for people who advertise on Google. And then you'll be able to, so what it'll do is it'll create these step 2s here for you. And as you saw, I created those ones on the fly. If we go back on here to view stats, they'll just come in here. So the new ads, as you set up new ads, or as you maybe auto run ads, you know, like auto optimize or use some software, they'll come in here as they go. Okay, so that's going to be pretty cool. So, and then the next thing we're going to be working on is a template for Facebook as well, to allow you to do that with Facebook and Instagram. So that should be a real time saver. And wherever we find ways to shortcut making links and things like that, as you already may know, we have in beta, we have a Chrome plugin. And when you come here with the Chrome plugin, and you go to tracking URL, you'll see it'll fill whatever URL you're on. It'll put in the campaign name, it'll fill as much of it as it can. And once we do come out with those new templates, then these options here, you'll be able to select just from a template or from here and set it up. So whenever you want to create tracking links, you can just do it nice and fast with the plugin. And our focus is to make it as easy as possible for you to create focused tracking links. So where you're expecting to get clicks, where you're focusing your energy on. Let me see. So Addon says, what ratio of user to tracking links do you advise? I'm not sure I understand the question. If you could please try and retype that. But basically, you should use the tracking links. You create the tracking link on the previous page to the page you want to promote. So your index page or your webinar page or whatever. And then you create these inner links on the different sources that you use. So you should only create as many as you use. You should never create it like for one-off users like what I did for Alec. That was just to show you an example of a replication, right? So this would be like, you know, Quora, and it would be paid ads on Quora, and then whatever medium, so whatever type of ad you're choosing, and then the ad name. So, you know, whatever your ad is, whatever you're using to identify that specific ad, okay? Is there or will there be an option to build a custom audience from a list and send it to Facebook without exporting and importing them manually? Sasha, so actually that's a very good point. At the moment, we are integrated in with Connectio, which is a suite of tools that allow you to do that. That's one of the things they allow you to do. And also, I know that we're in the process of being integrated with another service that does exactly that. And Sampath is also in talks with them about something, I think. So, but yeah, to answer your question, there's definitely going to be software that's going to allow you to do that. And yeah, and it's going to be pretty cool. That's I think a couple of weeks away. So that'll be really good. And we can build that in if there's enough requests as well, but it would be in a way that it's kind of supportive of the other software, if that makes sense. But yeah, either way, it's going to be something that's kind of cool. Because yeah, I understand that manual can be a bit difficult. Yeah, so if you use, your worry is that if you use the links on Facebook Messenger and the click-through rates are high, then it'll run out. Yeah, so we're going to be building on very, very affordable add-on packages as well. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about that until you get near to hitting those limits, because they refresh every month and the limits are pretty high. Someone's asking if we can integrate Tag on. We've been in talks with them, and they're quite busy on things, and we're quite busy on our roadmap, but I think maybe it's even on the roadmap. And if it's not, it will be soon. So yeah, that's something that we're definitely in discussions with them too. The main issue, Tana, is the use cases, to understand exactly how we can, because they focus on CTAs. Yeah. So yeah, that's something that we can definitely look at doing. So either they can pass their links to us, or we can pass our links to them, or like maybe inside the Tag on account, you can just click assign platformly tracking, and then we can track those events. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that we're trying to figure out. We just need to figure out exactly how best to do it. Is there a way to add a Facebook tracking pixel to platformly links? That's something that we can add. We can add that in, no problem at all. Please add it to the feature requests, and so that way that's part of the process. If you come here and you go to feature requests and you add it in, we check all feature requests. That's a great way of reminding us. As soon as we have time, we can look at building that in. But if we do get integrated with service like Tag on, they allow you to do that as well. So yeah, then you'd be able to do that. But once again, we can build that one feature in as well, because it's not particularly difficult. So just come here, give feedback, and add it in. But yeah, I think yeah, we'll either way, either through integration or through us adding it, you'll have it as an option. Okay, so let me see any other questions coming in. No, I think you only need to push the email identifier one time when they log in. You don't have to push it on every page. So, I mean, it's in your code, right? So, yeah, you just identify it and you've put it in the header code. So that's how they are identified on each page. But you only put the code in once. You just paste in that project code with the email identifier there, and then what that does is that automatically sends it to us. Is there a way we can identify them some other way, because emails can change? No, like other services we've looked at, like ActiveCampaign and all of them, that if they offer this option at all, then that's the only way that they offer it. ActiveCampaign, for example, does offer it, but just with email as well. There's no other identifier that I can think of that you can do it with. Yeah. Yeah, we can on a call next week if you want, next Friday. All right, so that's that. Then the other thing I wanted to discuss with you guys. So we've quickly talked about making it faster and easier for you to add tracking links for some ad networks as well, so that you only have to kind of add it once and then it's going to manage it all for you, or you can add them very quickly per campaign. Okay. Now the other thing I wanted to talk about right now would be Sampath, maybe not on the webinar, is so new traffic link. The other thing I wanted to talk about would be on the roadmap inside forms and opt-ins. When you create events, all right, what we want to do, and it's not there yet, but we're going to be working on that, so that'll come in a future release, is the events that you create, you'll be able to assign these without putting any code or anything like that. You won't have to put your project code. you won't have to put anything like that into the forms and opt-ins, okay? So that's on the roadmap. It's over here. Add events to landing and opt-in builders. So what this means is it's going to be very easy for you guys to, on the fly, put elements inside. So you'll click on the button and then you'll say, trigger event, you know, or like for PDF download or for visit or for any of these kinds of things. You'll be able to do all of that inside of the page builder and the opt-in builder. And you won't have to paste any code or anything like that. That's all going to come in a future release. Okay, so yep, anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, guys, on this webinar. So we've been an hour, and I hope that I've been able to answer how to kind of get a automation going, how to embed like your opt-in in a page that you create real quick, and then how to trigger that automation and how to end the automation. And we talked a lot about tracking links and what we've got coming as well, and events and how to trigger those events. Anything else that we should cover now, seeing Sampath?
Person, and yeah, I think okay, pleased to have invested. Yeah, thanks for the kind words.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Paul, for coming. Thanks, Tana, for all your questions, and basically everyone who came.
Yes, that was a part of a plan, Francisco. So we are going to have like more of the webinar series. So this is just like the first of many that we are planning for. So
yeah, and yeah, I'll get better at doing webinars as well. I haven't done very many before, so in future we'll probably have like a bit more preparation, a bit more interesting content, delivered a bit more excitingly, I suppose.
Francisco kind of seemed to be reading.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, so Francisco, I'm not sure where you got the hint that after SaaS Talk there's going to be like more webinars. So Colin, you must have leaked the info somewhere. No? Okay. Okay, Tanner forgot to ask something. Yeah, what is it, Tanner? What do you exactly? This is square one MBA. Okay, that exactly was the point, Dan.
Yeah, we're going to keep going through everything, and things will click as we go.
Exactly.
And it helps us as well to learn where we should put more focus.
Plus, this we just want to make sure that we cover the basics first. So the first of the webinar series will be more about the basics. And once we have all the basics covered, we are just going to take a break and see if you all managed to implement whatever we have learned so far. And probably we can have like a use case based webinar where we are planning to invite some of you who have implemented successfully, what are the challenges you have faced and how the results are like. And then we can go on to the advanced automation with platform. That's a plan. I need a specialist digital marketing VA. Okay.
If you get one, we'll probably come up with some coaching series as well for platform.
Yeah. Sorry, that one question. I think I had confusion of what happens when somebody goes from mobile to desktop.
So when someone goes from mobile to desktop, as in a customer?
Yeah, a customer.
So what we do is obviously we cookie them on their device, but then we also use IP. So if we don't find a cookie, for every visitor who comes, if we can't find a cookie, we then check their IP and then reassign them the cookie. So I'm not the CTO of the team, I didn't create those functions, but I know that there's a lot of extra stuff that goes on behind the scenes too.
Because it's very possible that like the user is coming from a company and they're using a VPN or something, and then the IP is, you know, all those issues. That's why I'm really confused about the transition. And then things like inside the dashboard, do the records just get merged then once they get identified and all that?
Yes, yeah. That gets merged. And also, if it's a known customer to you and you pass the email parameter, it doesn't matter what device they use, or where they log in or what IP or whatever, we can then, you know, assign that to them. So yeah, I hope that helps. Basically, I guess to answer, we spent a lot of time on tracking, and I think we've made the tracking, you know, when people come through a tracking link or from an email, about as advanced as you can. If any new technology comes along, we'll build that in as well. But on all our research and all of our studies and all the other tracking software that I've used, we're right up there. We're as advanced and more advanced than a lot of them. So we've talked about another ESP on this call. Our tracking is more advanced than their tracking. For example, we recently went and checked, actually, but Tanner, based on you and your questions, and we dug into them and looked at us, and yeah, so we try and do more match cases than they do. Obviously, these days with the strong focus on privacy and people cleaning cookies all the time, that you have a cookie wiping thing, you have VPNs, you have all these types of things. So sometimes you lose people through the gap, but that's true of everything. That's the same for Facebook. That's the same for everything. You're not at any disadvantage using us over any other tracking provider that you can find. Basically, that's what I want to say.
And take on this question. Okay, Dimori, segment is soon going to have. I have noticed somewhere in the roadmap where it says that there's going to be like a possibility of collecting the face from segment. So with like a one click, you can get the data, basically like Facebook email. The email that's associated with their Facebook account and the phone number associated with that Facebook account. So probably like once that feature is ready with Segment, we should be able to pull that data into Platformly, given that we are going to have like an integration. Obviously, like Platformly, we recently had the launch just got over, and Segment is still on the launch. So the deal is still running. So probably like once it's all sorted out and once the dust is settled, once they get like a bit free, probably like we can have another call to see how we can go forward with the integration and get this happen. So yes, and you should once the integration is ready, you should be able to send emails to your Facebook subscribers as well. So you can contact them via messenger marketing as well as via email. I hope that answers your question. Okay. So is there any other question or anything else that you want to discuss or anything missed out? If not, we can. We are just working on like a couple of the topics for the next webinar. Please vertically integrate CRM with Platformly. Colin, I think that was for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are working on like a few other topics for the next webinar. So probably what I'll do is like for the next webinar, I'll write up like 2 or 3 different topics that we can cover, especially once again for the basics. We'll be covering the basics first. So I can come up with like a few topics and run a poll, and based on whatever you would like to see in the next webinar, we can organize one accordingly when Colin is back from SaaS Talk. How does that sound? Give me a 1 if you're still around and if you think that idea is okay. 1. Okay, perfect. 1. Great.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, let's do it that way.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy to discuss anything about the platform. Even if we start with how to build landing pages, how to import your contacts. But yeah, I think Sampath will put up a poll, and you guys can vote on the things that you want us to talk about first. We'll obviously try and cover everything anyway, but yeah, just in the order that you want. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for coming along and jumping on with us and spending the time. It also helps us a lot with our product too, so it's very helpful.
Yeah,
thank you very
great.
much.
Yeah, and I will share the replay as soon as the replay is ready. I'll share the link with Colin, and Colin will share it in the group. Thank you once again for sitting with us. And for the first time, I think in the last 3-4 months, for the first time, I'm winding up the webinar within 60 minutes. So I'm especially happy about that. So thank you once again for joining us and staying with us through the webinar. And thank you, Colin, for a good presentation once again. So see you all in the next webinar.
Thanks. Bye, guys.